Hi everyone, Scott Weaver from Factory Direct Window Treatments. Today we're going to go over a continuous loop cord system. It's called rollease. And what this allows you to do, instead of having all those strings, you just have a continuous cord to bring up and down your shade. And I'm going to go over some of these parts here. These are what are called cord clips. And the cord clips have a little spot that you are going to, when you knot it, and I'll explain this later, but I'm going to show you what it looks like. It's got this little groove out here, and that's where your knot is going to go when you tie off each lift string. So that's your cord clip. And here is another little part. Let me bring it a little closer here. This is called your shift bracket. Now I'm using what's called the slim clutch, so these are very small. They also make a larger one. But in order for this shade to go up, it has to be mounted on a 2-inch board. So that's your shift bracket. And then two more parts over here. This is called your spear retainer. Let me show you what your spears look like. This is the spear retainer. And here's what the spear looks like, and it goes inside here. Now depending on the size of your shade, you're either going to need 4 spears or 2 spears. You can even get away with 3 spears depending on the size of your shade. This system will lift about a 15-pound shade, and this is what's called your disc, disc bracket. And then we have, you're going to need 4 small screw eyes, and they're very tiny. Look like that. Then you're going to need a disc screw. And this is also a very small Phillips head screw. Then you're going to need screws, and it doesn't really matter which type you use. The type I like to use, and these are just to put these slim brackets on. I like to use the ones that have like the little washers on them. It's a little flat, and it saves from cracking the plastic. And you're going to need a number 1 and a number 2 screwdriver. It's also nice to have a punch. The punch is used for just putting a little hole so you can start your little screw eyes with. But also you can, if you need to be, unless you're using an electric screwdriver, these also helps to put in your other screws. But you can also use a electric screwdriver, which I do use. If you're using that, make sure you have your setting down to like a 1. So when your screw goes in there, you're not over torquing it and breaking the plastic. And then lastly, you'll need a hammer, and the hammer is just so when you're putting your screws in, you just put a little tap to it to start your hole. So there's your parts, and this is what your clutch looks like. This is the clutch. And now we're going to start assembling one of these so you can see how it's done. The first thing you want to do, oh, and by the way, this is the aluminum shaft. I forgot to show you that. And the aluminum shaft has it's fluted, and it's fluted on, it has 3 flutes to it. And why those flutes are there, let me bring this back a little closer here, is for the clip to fit into, and it locks right into the flute, like so. And your continuous cord, these come in a foot increments, starting at 1 foot up to 6 feet, I believe it is, maybe even longer, I'm not sure. And then you need your lift cord string. This is a polyester cord. It is 0.9 millimeters, the only cord that you should be using. Anything thicker will not work. Anything thinner, you're going to be running the risk to break a string. And there you have it. Now we're going to start putting this together. You take one of these ends of your aluminum shaft, and you're going to put this disc drive onto it. And you want to line it up. This disc drive has 2 spots that you can line up one of these flutes with. And that's what you're going to put your screw through here. And you can see it's slotted. You can see the holes right there. And that's what you're only going to put 1 screw in. You don't need to put 2 in. And you're going to line that up, that screw hole, with the flute. Flute comes here and it lines up, and that's going to allow you to put a screw in there. That's very important. Otherwise, all that's going to happen is your shaft is just going to keep spinning around and around, and it's not going to do anything. So by using your #1 screwdriver, Phillips head screwdriver, you want to go ahead and put that in. Okay, that's the first part. Now the second part is to use your spear retainer that we talked about. Now this has 4 grooves in here, and 2 of these grooves have a little notch out. And those little notch outs, I'll grab a spear, has a little notch out right here. And what that does, and you see the spear has a hole in it, and that will come in here and it'll lock right in. So now only 2 of these have those, the other 2 do not. So make sure that if you're using only 2, that you put it into the spot that has the little notch on there, so it locks it in. And then and here's your clutch. Now the clutch has those little notches on all 4 sides, so you don't have to worry about that. So in this case, I'm only going to use 2 of these spears. These are your spears. And I'm going to put them in, like so. And then I'm going to put it through these, see you got these little holes right here. You're going to put it through 2. Now if you're using 4 spears, you can put it all through 4. And that's that. And then you're going to take this, which is your spear retainer, and you're going to slide this through here, and then you're going to lock it in. And you'll hear them click in. If they don't click in, you don't have it locked in. So that's that. Then you can see I have one set up. You're going to take each of these. Now, these little guys, these shift brackets, line up with your rings. And you're going to glide each one of them on here. And you need, if you've got 6 strings, you need 4 of these shift brackets. You're always going to need 2 less than the amount of rows that are on your shade. So you go ahead and you put those on, and then you're going to line them up. And let me remove all this stuff for a second. So here is one ready to be strung. This is what it looks like. And each one of these that we're talking about, shift brackets, line up. This is what's called a soft fold shade, but it doesn't matter if you're using a soft fold shade or a flat fold shade. You're going to see that these have these little, let me show you, holes at the top of these. This is what your string's going to be fed through in here, and then once it's fed through, you're going to tie it off, which I will show you, and you're going to clip this onto here, and that's what's going to hold your string. When we're talking about this shift bracket that's on here, this is going to be cut 7 inches less than what your shade width is. And the reason why is because as this is winding up, here's your continuous cord on here, and you're going to pull it and it moves. But as it's winding up each string, the bar is going to travel over. So you want to make sure it's not traveling over your shade. So that's why you want to cut your shaft bracket approximately 7 inches less, depending on what type of side hems you're using. But if you go 7 inches, it's a pretty safe call. So anyway, that's that. And another item that you're going to need, this is your tension device. The tension device is to lock this down for child safety. And it looks like this. It has this little piece at the top. It's spring-loaded. It's got a little spring to it. And in order to put this on your string, or on your cord, you need to pull down on the lever, remove the top piece, like that. You're going to slip this in here, and you're going to put it back on. And there's a spring. And that's what's going to safely hold it. And then you're going to lock this down either onto your wall or the inside of your window casing. If it's an inside mount, there are 2 brackets that come with it. One's for outside mount, one's for inside mount. You screw these into the inside of your window or to your wall, and then this right here has a little slot for your screw, and you'll safely attach to the screw, and that will keep all the cords away from your children for strangulation, etc. And so that's another important item. And having said that, another thing I want to point out to you, you're looking at this shade, the shift brackets line up with your center one, but you'll notice there's not a shift bracket here. So then we put a screw eye right here, and then we're going to run that, those are the screw eyes we're talking about, run it through here up into this screw eye, and then we attach the clip right here with a string on it, which I will show you how to string this. So that is the parts. This is what it looks like. You're looking at the back side of the shade, and again, this is a soft fold shade, and it doesn't matter if you're using a soft fold shade or a flat Roman shade. It works on both systems. So this is your introductory towards this. The next, we're going to show you how to string this and how to knot and tie each one of these lift cords. Thank you very much. Scott Weaver from Factory Direct Window Treatments.